Back to WALSALL Fan TV. Just a little update. Got things to cover off. We have an official letter from Walsall Supporters Trust. A couple of issues and questions around Trevella that come up within that. Talk about January transfer window, players, whether they're staying or going, and the end of Poundland. So we'll get that and more coming up. Right then, first of all, very well constructed letter from Walsall Supporters Trust, so well done on that. Despite the disappointment, the way the season's finished, it's important that we do sort of look at some of the positives, and there were lots of positives. We had the joy return, albeit it sort of turned into pain again. But the joy had returned, and we've had some good times this season. So we can't forget those, despite the way it ended, of course. The arrival of Ben Sadler, CEO, that's another real big plus. The way he engages with people is really positive and works wonders with supporters. He answers some questions that perhaps I wouldn't answer, but it's a real big boost and a real big credit to the club. So thanks to Ben Sadler particularly. We've also got to give praise to Matt Sadler and the team. Nathan Lowe, yes, he went back in January, but Matt Sadler targeted getting Nathan Lowe on board, and obviously that worked massively well. So he's going to have some credit for that. Yes, he'll get criticism for Ethan Wheatley, which on paper sounded like a great option, but it didn't quite work out that way. We did sort of kind of drop him a little bit, but we can't forget that Nathan Lowe was a real sort of big bonus for us. And Matt Sadler, amongst lots of criticism, there's a lot of things that he'd done well for us. Great initiatives with tickets as well, with the £10 ticket offers. That's increasing the core support at Walsall, and with that, bigger and better atmospheres. So that's good. The Walsall Supporters Trust give reference to as a critical friend. Only Colchester have waited longer than Walsall for a promotion. That's over the whole of the EFL 72 clubs. So that is why we're all sad, I guess. The unexplained absence of Harry Williams has been brought into question. The rumour is he's agreed a deal with Newcastle. But the way he went off injured at Wembley, somebody mentioned ACL. I don't know if that's true or not. But it would be a real shame if he didn't get that move, if Newcastle is the destination. So if it is, well done, Harry, and we wish you well. Underuse of DJ is one that comes up on every fan chat. Why aren't we playing DJ? Why aren't we playing to our strengths? And 1.76 goals per 90 minutes. He was the most effective striker in the whole of the division. And we didn't use him, and not even on the bench for Wembley, of course, when we really needed a goal. So that's a negative. Needs some explanation. I think we'd heard through the grapevine that he had some medical issues, but I think that was all before Christmas. So post-Christmas, can't understand why he hadn't had more involvement. Sticking to a rigid tactics, which is something we've talked about before, that's went through with the Academy Spotlight, about playing the same way and not having that plan B when other teams have kind of worked out how to play against us. That is a concern, and that's something that Matt Sadler needs to look at himself at and work out how to do something different with that. The box midfield did help, but didn't work in every situation against the low possession likes of Wimbledon. It just didn't work, and maybe a second striker to give some support to Jamil Matt would have been better. But easy to say it in retrospective, isn't it? The third consecutive loan striker recalled is something we don't want to repeat. But saying that, if we get somebody in who gets us to the top of the league and he's a loan player, then it's a great idea. It's just managing that. So if he is recalled, not having the same drop off. I want to sort of talk about that. In January, because of the position we were in the league, top of the league, we should have been looking at League One players that we could sign early, effectively, to get us over the line and be ready for League One. And it seemed that we didn't really do that. Levi Amanchi, a great player for development. Obviously not the finished article at the moment. But where were the League One signings? We had Ellis Harrison, so he was a League Two player who couldn't get a game. Levi, a League Two player that couldn't get a game. And then the two Blues guys, Chang and Hall. Great quality, but fitness issues. And of course, Nathan Asimwe, he's a League One player. That is the kind of player we wanted to be getting in. So that was a positive one, and he proved positive for the team. Darius Lipswick, I just don't understand what happened there and why he came. He probably thinks exactly the same. Right then, so that's something we need to do better. I'll get on to sort of lessons learned and that sort of stuff in a second. Trivella, now this is one that people asked when Trivella first came in. What's their long-term vision? Now, what they've said is sustainable improvement, and it's a long-term commitment. But with the investors they've got on board, I can't think of any investment I've made where I've not sort of been thinking, okay, well, what is my return? What's the long-term return? So if you invest in something and it's going to take 10 years and then you get X amount back, then yeah, okay, that's a plan. Or if it's going to be dividend generating, it's going to pay you an income, then that's another plan. But I think it would enhance the transparency and reinforce trust and credibility, as the Walsall Supporters Trust said, if they sort of make that a little bit clear. So what is the deal for investors? Are they just contributing to a community project without any planned return? That could be the case. It'd be nice to have that a little bit clear. Clearly articulate the long-term vision is the way they'd sort of succinctly put it. So yeah, we move on. So I think they will all be sitting down and discussing what lessons learned they can take for what happened during the season's collapse in the latter half of the season. Obviously, we already touched on the players that we bought in League One, and that could have maybe helped see us over the line. Tactical changes, the ability to change the game, sort of game changers. So powerful players from the middle. That's something that only they can do, really. They need to sit down, and I'm sure they'll be doing that anyway. But what's going to get us over the line in future? Matt Sadler's come out and said he understands that some players will leave at the end of the season, and it's some we're going to try and keep. But what generally happens when you have a good season in any division, teams pick off the best players, and particularly in League Two, with Walsall not particularly paying in the higher bracket of the division, you can see anybody above the top half of League Two is going to be looking at players like Liam Gordon, Ryan Stirk, Taylor Allen, and that kind of player, and taking them away from us. So that's a risk. But with Walsall not being sort of bankrolled by a wealthy owner who just wants to plough money in. That's our lot, I'm afraid. We had losses of over £1 million the previous year, but I think that's going to be balanced up with Wembley and the playoffs. That's probably, some people have talked about £1 million there. So we would expect the next accounts to come up on a positive side of things. You would hope. Final thing, Poundland, that deal has finished. So what next? It takes away the joke that away fans have used about Poundland Stadium and Poundland players and all that business. So yeah, it takes that joke away. But Poundland is a great British company, and it's been good to have them as a sponsor. Despite the jokes, Poundland have done us a great job and been a great support to Walsall, both the town and the club. Right then, so who's next? Is it going to be Naufo? Or have they got a lot of skin in the game already? So we wait and see. Right then, any questions, pop them in the comments, and we'll be discussing them at the fan chat on Sunday. Thanks for watching.